As soon as this pandemic hit, I started mourning. There is nothing in this world I love more than choral singing, and seemingly overnight, that became impossible. The mourning was intense. A lot of crying, a lot of missing my singers, mourning the time lost, the momentum lost, the beauty lost. I spent 6 months ruminating on this loss, constantly focused on what I wanted us to be doing that we just couldn't do. The other day, in a staff meeting, we were talking about the African Rosa philosophy of Ubuntu, often translated as I am because we are. I was really struck because choral singing is all about Ubuntu. It is all about serving others and feeding your soul at the same time. We come together as a group. We give up a little piece of our individuality to create something magnificent and important and more beautiful than we could possibly create on our own. So I thought deeply about how we can experience the same sense of Ubuntu when we can't physically be together. And for the first time in 6 months, I stopped mourning. I realized that virtual rehearsals will look more like everyone in the ensemble growing individually, so that when we get back together, we are all better singers, better musicians. We have a deeper skill set. I also realized that we will collectively have to redefine the way choral music gratifies us, though that part will only be temporary. Singing in a chorus is a constant experience of instant gratification. The minute you walk in the room, you see people you care about, and you're filled with the anticipation of the endorphins, the oxytocin that will soon flood your brain. Locking in a chord, locking in a vowel, experiencing a great crescendo or a beautifully nuanced phrase, hearing the progress rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal, and knowing that you are creating together something that is going to be very special. Rehearsing is challenging, but it is constantly gratifying. Virtual rehearsals will not have that. I think that's going to be the hardest part for all of us, not hearing those chords, not experiencing that beauty in the moment. We will have the gratification of seeing each other's faces. We'll have the gratification of working together on projects, but it won't be that big old bowl of endorphins that we get in a regular rehearsal. But I am finally excited about this. In rehearsal, we constantly work on building our group skill set. That looks like focusing on how to sing better together, how we tune a chord, how we tune vowels, balance timbre, blend and blend and blend. And I spend an incredible amount of time in rehearsals on this, on the group skill set, more than any other choral director I know. I've spent a lot of the 6 months mourning the fact that we can't do that thing. But now I'm focused on the skills that we can work on together. Vocal technique is my jam. I have traveled the world teaching people how to care for their voices throughout their whole lives. I am an expert at teaching singers how to create healthier, more beautiful tone. We can't really work on tuning vowels with each other, but we can all individually expand the palettes of vowel colors that we can achieve. We can all individually expand the palettes of tonal colors we can achieve. We can each individually work on tuning without compromising the tone. That is a really difficult skill, fine tuning. These techniques are far more individualistic than what we typically spend rehearsal time on, but if we had more rehearsal time, if we rehearse 2-3 times a week, I would absolutely give them their due. So you see, I've finally stopped mourning because as an educator, I can see this time not as a tragedy, but as some strange luxury. We will each be behind a screen by ourselves, but we can each learn and grow. So when we do get back together, every single one of us will have a deeper skill set, and our ensembles will be all the better for it. And though we will feel the void left by the lack of instant gratification that we might not even realize is so important to us, I know it will still be gratifying. In the last 6 months, I've taken part in 4 or 5 virtual choirs. And I'll be honest, the process sucks. Standing there trying to create a somewhat decent recording is tricky, it's frustrating, and once you get it all right, the video you've created is just you, singing one part of a song awkwardly alone. All the musical projects I've been a part of in the last couple of decades, creating solo videos for virtual choirs may be the least instantly gratifying. But eventually, you get to see all of it. So far, I have happy cried every time I've seen the final product of these virtual choir projects. This past Friday, I played the AGMC's He Ain't Heavy, He's My Brother virtual choir for around 500 high school choir kids in Cobb County. And I got misty in all 4 of the virtual classes I taught. The gratification in virtual choirs is very, very, sometimes months, very delayed. But the product, when produced well, is incredibly gratifying. So, for this virtual choral time to work, we need to shift our focus a little. Rehearsal time will be less about growing as a group and more about honing our own skills for the future betterment of the ensemble. Delayed gratification. Our quote-unquote performances will lack that early endorphin rush, and recording the projects will be a bit of a slog, but not only will you experience significant gratification when you get to see the product, but our audience will get that gratification as well. Which brings me to my last point. Singing in a chorus feeds our souls. And we truly know that our performances feed the souls of everyone who hears us. We know that the hard work we put in, as gratifying and life-changing as it can be for us personally, that our music makes this world more beautiful, more meaningful, more empathetic, more understanding, and the world really needs us right now. I know that rehearsing and creating together during this pandemic isn't going to be the same, but I also know that we can create incredible things together, and that people who feel trapped, who feel stuck, who are depressed and losing hope, we can make them feel just a bit better. This is an opportunity to think beyond ourselves and to truly serve others in our community in a unique and necessary way. So, let's weather the storm together, understanding that we can't do what we want to be doing. Let's put all of what we have into what we can do. And let's create art that the world desperately needs. I'll see you in rehearsal.